get to it in a minute. They're gonna have to hold. They're gonna have to wait. Might need some waiting music or something. Like I got. I'm going to put this on my save this to my page. It like Facebook is really making me mad though.
Yeah, the streaming things are finicky.
Like I can't share this out like I want to. Like so it's killing my views on the book. Like got 73 views from the other day. Like I know for a fact we probably have more that wanted to watch it, but I can't share it like I used to share it in the past. But anyways though, let me see. Maybe it'll change. Something changed. Nope, nothing changes. Anyway, this is the Big Games BS brought to you by the Media Group. Presented by thehumidor.com, ABC Fine Wine and Spirits, the go-to place for your spirit needs, liquor, whatever you want. Basically, they got it. Whatever you want, they got it. You need to go check it out, especially during tailgate season. Go there, get your beer, get your kegs, your coolers, all of that. I mean, ice. And during hurricane season, something a little known secret. Obviously, people panic buy and go to Publix and all these other places and they buy up all the water. You know who always has water? ABC Fine Wine and Spirits, the liquor stores. Go there. I promise you, you'll be able to find the water that you need and you'll be able to take care of your family as well as wine, other stuff, and the most important thing, cigars. We haven't really been hit like that in Jacksonville in a few years, but nothing really. There's only a few things you need. Obviously, you need food. You need a grill, and you need lighters, and you need cigars. And if you can get a what do you call that? Uh, the thing, the machine that like basically lets your electronics run. You get one of those, you're gonna be good. But your generator, if you have that though, you're good to go. So thehumidor.com, you can go get your torches. A torch will light up your grill a lot faster than just a normal traditional lighter. Go there, type in sports, then at checkout you get 20% off. So it's a good little perk. There's perks to membership. If you're not buying your cigars from there, your liquor, come on over here to Goodfellas Cigar Lounge Mondays during football season. We'll be doing Monday Night Football. We will be having a good a good live show. We'll have some guests that will come in and we'll obviously break down the NFL, but we'll break down the Jags. We'll talk about the previous Seminole game as well. We'll talk about a lot of different things that we'll post and describe so that guys can get their football fix. And I feel like I'm missing somebody else. No, we'll talk about them with Hate O'Clock, and there's plenty of hatred to go around. A lot of stuff has been happening in sports, but before I get to that, one thing you've been able to see if you follow my progression on media is my growth as a man, in particular as a father. So it didn't hit me until last night when I was having my cigar time. My son's first live action and tackle football is on Saturday. I won't be there. And then I was talking with somebody about, just situational awareness and the things that a lot of kids in this generation don't have. I'm of the hood, from the hood. Not a gangster, but I can do gangster shit if necessary. But my son is just a genuinely good kid and he's active and he's tough and I love all of that stuff. I've never been on the other side like of a parent. Like I've fucked up a lot of people on the football field. I never really took any like dynamic L's, but I've given some. Y'all parents who've seen your kid get laid out, or parents, if you've been a victim of James Coleman laying your kid out, like what was it like to experience that? Because I don't know. I'm terrified. I can't go and play the game for him, but I can't take him away from that. And I was just sitting there thinking, like, what if there's a James Coleman that James Coleman's going to see? How will we respond? I don't know. We'll see. But that was the first time I've had the legitimate fear. And, yeah, I hope it, I know he's going to rise to the occasion and make the name proud. But It's just a fear that I have. Not that he's gonna get hurt. I mean, I don't even care if he's any good or not. I just don't want him to get laid out. That's all. And I don't know what to do. Somebody, of course, some woman said, "Well, that's when you gotta cheer him up and tell him go out there and do it again." I'm like, man, that's not how this shit works. Like you gotta that's hard. But so we got football games. So you're gonna get updates during football season because I'm a proud dad. I know how the rest of y'all aren't as proud of your kids as I am, but I love that. Love every moment of being a father, even the bad shit. But so we'll have that going. The other thing that we got going that I had is Jaguar season. So I'll be doing the gamut. Jaguar and football season coming up. So I'll be running the gamut of random podcasts, both national and for Miles. We can go to YouTube and maybe put this in the comments. I went on Jaguars United yesterday. Had a great podcast episode. It was live. I'm gonna go start doing that show more because my man got he got it going. He's only got like 2.6 thousand subscribers, but like he's got a dedicated following. I mean, I think they probably that show probably easily has over 1,000 views now, probably 1,000 or more. But
What's it called?
Jaguars United, I believe, and but we had anywhere between 50 to 60 people on the live at any given point. Use the worst picture of me, by the way. I hate when I take professional headshots and I don't have my beard's not taped. So like that's never like good. But okay, obviously I was way off on the views. But he had again just to have. I told him I would kill to have as many people watch me live, and a lot of questions were asked, and a lot of things were going on, and it was a good pot. I like him. And I'm different than a lot of other media. I'm not a traditional media journalist, or I'm not a reputable, as FSU guys would say. Like I'm gonna talk the way I talk. I'm gonna describe things the way I describe things, and it's not always gonna be smiles and Hallmark cards. But I think I was optimistic because I am optimistic about the Jags season. The problem is, I just believe the Jags, unless other teams have injuries, if we're just looking at it right now, the Jags are going to be good. They'll be better than they've been, but they're good enough to be average. And I think people take that the wrong way. There's nothing wrong with that. You got to be average. Like they haven't even been average. So like that's a step in the right direction per me. At least that's what I think. So, we had a good hour podcast. Very, very, very 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 well run, very well organized. And so I did that. I got like 1,000 podcasts that I'm going to be doing in the next 3 weeks with opening season. I mean, with season openers coming around, and I'll probably do a more detailed separate show or separate content breaking down Jaguars and post game stuff and things that I know people really and truly like to see. Even though I hope it's going to be a little bit more positive because they'll win. So, but other than that, big news going on. Actually, before I even get into I'm going into that. I'm going into that because this is still pretty heavy. And then I'm gonna end it with lighter stuff. And there's a lot of things that have been going on in NCAA nationally and the NFL nationally. So I started off with Deshaun Watson, in case you missed it. Deshaun Watson has an 11 games, like the NFL came back and the NFL and the NFLPA agreed, and Deshaun Watson agreed to an 11-game suspension and a $5 million fine for him being weird in massages. I'm sorry. My take on it is different than the judge's take, it different than everybody else's take. I don't think he didn't do anything criminal. And I don't think you can legislate weirdness. If we're getting into a world where we're legislating weirdness, then I think it's going to be overreach. There's a lot of other things that are more pertinent that the NFL has guys do that I believe that they should be punishing people and doing different things. And I sent you an email with it, Miles. So if you want to, it's a bunch of different links that are associated with it. But 11 games. But the funny part of it is, the NFL, even in their serious nature, is supposed to be taking trying to do this for the rights of women. Never miss an opportunity to help with their marketing and help with the drama and help with storylines, help with things like that. If you look at, actually, while you're posting that up, Miles, I want you to go and grab this because I'm gonna keep giving my opinions on Deshaun. But I would like people to go and Google the Cleveland Browns schedule and go down to see who they play week 11. And it's the NFL is just, again, they're just really, really, really good at making things happen in the manner in which they want it to happen. But Roger Goodell is a guy that I believe has too much unchecked power. And that's just my belief. That's my opinion. But the players don't have to play. So it is a private enterprise. It's capitalism. And that's what they do. They choose to let him be judge, juror, and executioner. But let's make no mistake. They really don't care about you. They care about the bottom line. And if you, it's right there, Miles. You good? Go down. Go scroll back down.
Oh, you want to show this?
Yeah, I want to show this. I want people to see 11/28 is the game that he's eligible to play. And I want you guys to see which game that is. And I want you to ask yourself, does the NFL really give a fuck about people in the manner in which they say? I'd argue that they don't. Because if they did, one, Deshaun would be suspended for an entire year. He would still have to forfeit a bigger portion of his salary. And they would not schedule it. Is it showing on our thing now?
Yeah.
They would not schedule it the day that they just happen to be playing in Houston. Like, you're just asking for drama with that. You're asking for a media circus. You could have done it the week before. You could have done it 2 weeks after. But now the headlines are Deshaun Watson's finally returned. Serial massage therapist groper, Deshaun Watson returns back to Houston where he demanded a trade and all these different things and blah blah blah. So that's the NFL is not, nothing is, like, everything is deliberate with what they do.
Right.
I mean, you could have gave a 13-game suspension, and it would have been giving you the exact same impact. You could have given a 10-game suspension. You didn't. This is what you did. It's just like, and the irony is not, the only thing ironic in this whole situation is that the National Massage Therapist Convention is in Cleveland this year. And oh God. That's all tweet. It was great. It's amazing. Deshaun Watson is like a kid at a candy store. But again, can we legislate weirdness? Weirdo, there was a weirdo born every day. I have family members that are weirdos, not to this extent, but I don't know what. I think I have. I don't know if I told the story because it could have been my hated cloud with my great uncle Harry. Amazing man, just passed in February. He lived. One thing I say about the Watkins men is that them motherfuckers lived. And I went up there, and then I have my uncle, my maternal uncle. I don't really know my paternal uncles, my father's side of the family. I know they exist. I just don't really have relationships with them. I know their names. I've seen them a few times in my life, just don't have relationships with them. But I do have a relationship with my Uncle George. Uncle George is a dope guy. Great man. Weird as Halloween on a Friday with a full moon. But he picked me up from the airport. We went to go see my mom when we were there for the funeral because they stayed in Princeton. I stayed in the hood. Because for some reason, I wanted to be fucking nostalgic or something like that. I started to stay in Philly and then just come over for the funeral. But I said, man, you know what? No, I'm going to kick it with the family. I'm going to do a bunch of other stuff. So this man lets me unpack, get my stuff, puts it in the house. And we had a rental car, so I had to drive his raggedy ass car with no power steering in a city that I have never driven in Trenton, but I got there safely. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna park my car, I'm gonna get the rental. And then, you just go inside and make yourself comfortable. And I had my cousin who was coming to give me my beer tape. 30 minutes go by. He's not in the house. Then I get a text. My uncle's like, yo, I had to go make a run real quick. I'll come back. I think he buys horse. But that's okay. He's happy. It's just weird. He does weird shit. He has weird conversations with me. I don't think he should be legislated for being weird. As long as he's not doing no pedophile shit, as long as he ain't taking the pussy, nothing wrong with that. None of these cases with Deshaun Watson do they state that he took the pussy. In fact, there is one where she says that he masturbated and he ejaculated like in her eye or something like that. Do you know how close you got to be to somebody for you to like bust in their eye or bust on them? Or he has some real good projectile stuff. But if I see you again, if Miles is the producer, and Miles is my guy, but if I'm hearing Miles whips his dick out, I don't care if it's my building or not. I'm just going to walk out. He owns that space at that moment right there. It's just like there's a viral meme of somebody like was trying somebody and faking saying you're going to fight and he just strips butt naked. I'm not angry anymore. I'm leaving. I'm leaving the situation if you strip butt naked. I'm not tussling with a man and his ass is out, ass and dick's out. If you stay and you see a penis and it's erect, then I'm sorry. You have made and he did not, but if he did not penetrate you, he did not do anything to you, you made a conscious decision to stay in that room. Sorry. And if your place of employment forced you to do it, then you need to sue your place. Your place of employment needs to be sued as well. But nobody's talking about that. So that's the major news in the NFL. Moving on to make sure I'm checking out something else. Moving on to major news in college football. Before I get to the thing where I feel like I'm always talking about this because I just have an infatuation with the Big Ten. I really love the Big Ten. I want to go there. But before we get into that, there are some things that I really hate about football in general. I played football when men could play. When like there were big hits. Guys got, like PK Sam got torpedoed by Sean Taylor when I played. Like concussion, CTE was dealt like candy. And it was real stuff out there. But now the college football softened it up a little bit. They made some rules to where you couldn't do certain things. Like you could not go and bang people. You couldn't hit. You could get ejected. And when you're with your ejection, you miss a full game. There was no appeals process. There wasn't anything like that. Quarterbacks were taking advantage. They would act like they're running out of bounds and then go upfield and you got to pull up. They'll act like they're sliding and then they'll start running. They'll start doing all kinds of other things. Like it was making it hard for defenders, and you were asking people to make split-second decisions on the side of being safe for the game. And it wasn't making the game safe. It was actually more people have been getting hurt because the game was meant to be played full speed and not meant to be played slow. But yesterday, the NCAA changed its rules to allow players penalized for targeting to have part of their punishment appealed and to better prevent players from faking injuries and stop the clock. One of the biggest things that people have been doing with the invent of the no-huddle offense is you just say you're hurt, you're cramping. They have to stop the game for cramping. Now what they're going to do is penalize teams if they feel like you were just faking it. So I guess if you'll see guys make a big play because the benefit of the no-huddle is somebody gets hurt, you got to pull that guy out. They can, if you cramp up, you can change your defense. You get a chance to get everybody settled. It's like an extra timeout. But if I can go ahead and run the ball or get moving, I catch you off guard. I got you on your heels. I keep pressing. That's the benefit of the no huddle. But if I'm like, my guy's cramping my hamstring, because this is the thing. Scientifically, it's impossible for a lot of this stuff to happen. Like if you cramp up to the point where you can't move, science states that you shouldn't be able to go back in the game and play at a high level. Your body is beyond the point of dehydration. But the fact that these guys go in and are starting to perform again, doesn't make sense. You pull your hamstring is pulled. Like, so when they make these moves, like they need to start doing stuff. Like if you come out because you're dehydrated, again, if safety was the real course of action, they would say, hey, you got to be safe. You can't play anymore. Because if you go out there and play, you're going to get yourself hurt even more. But that's kind of where that was at. But I want to highlight just a few of these rules that are out here. The Associated Press the NCAA is instituting a number of rule changes, including some that deal with targeting, faking injuries to stop the clock, and slow no-huddle offenses. The Associated Press shared the changes. Players ejected in the second halves of games for targeting might not be suspended for the first half of the next game, depending on the results of an appeal. So how would this would have affected Florida State last year was Jamie Robinson, all ACC safety, considered one of the best safeties in the nation right now, got ejected in the second half of his last game at South Carolina. He had to serve that suspension at Florida State against Notre Dame. So he wasn't able to do what he needed to do. Schools and conferences can report potential faking of injuries to a national coordinator of officials, which could lead to penalties for the school involved. Now, here's some other things like only linemen and stationary backs inside the tackle box can cut below the waist. So what used to happen is back in the day, if you remember Freddie Stevenson, my guy, this wasn't the rule then. He got a great block for Dalvin Cook. And this is really, they called it back. And this is what started the losing to Clemson. Because if Dalvin gets that score, we still have, we don't lose that game to Clemson in 2015. 2015 is a different season. But they call it a high-low, which is impossible for one person to do a high-low. I can block you and then cut you. That's just me doing a high-low block is a tandem block, but one person blocks you high and the other person blocks you low. That's illegal. That could get you hurt. But now you can't even go downfield cut blocks are not in the rules anymore, but you can cut inside the tackle blocks. It is an inside-out path unless you're a defensive lineman. So all offensive linemen can immediately cut when you watch slants or quick screens. That's typically what offensive linemen do. And then running backs, that's a way to be safe because you got to go pass protect a linebacker that's got a 5-yard head start coming downhill. Sometimes you got to mix that bad boy up. You got to cut that motherfucker because or he's going to put you on your ass. And that's just not optimal. And ball carriers who simulate a feet-first slide like Pittsburgh Kenny Pickett did famously in the ACC championship game will be penalized. So, like, that's rightfully so. Because that was some bullshit that Kenny Pickett did. And the guy should have decapitated him. But he did. He just did this and then kept running. So you're training defenders to do something, and offensive guys are taking advantage of it, rightfully so. That's what you should do. You try to find the subtle advantages and the subtle nuances in the game to be able to exploit. But it's fair. Fair is fair. Right is right. Wrong is wrong. I think if you just got a chance to knock everybody's peel everybody's muffin cap back blue, you wouldn't have these issues. And again, this is just wild. So there's that. Now, before we get into full-blown hate o'clock, again, it's just some positivity too. A lot of positivity, a lot of wild stuff. Oh, actually, my bad. We're going to keep this one more thing with the NCAA. I don't think I sent you this one, Miles. I'll send this to you right now just in case so you can have it. But when and this kind of peels into the next thing. Sources are Pete Thamel, at PETETHAMEL, states that presidents and chancellors who make up the college football playoffs board of managers held a brief discussion on Monday about major college football operating under a governance structure outside of the NCAA. If you're looking at what the SEC and what the Big Ten are doing, yeah, that one. I think that's the one.
Yeah, Pete Thamel.
Yeah, what they're doing is they are making it to where there will be a semi-pro. I believe you'll see name, image, and likeness kind of become less news when they do this, and you'll get to the 60. You get guys being paid between $30,000 and $60,000, an agreed upon rate of pay for players, And then you'll always have advertising deals and stuff of that nature, but they'll be good. Like it's the NCAA had an opportunity to do things the right way, and they didn't. It's the only thing that's more American than apple pie, is not doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do, doing the right thing because you're forced to do or getting it taken away from you. They could have paid players a long time ago. They could have done better. They got better legislation, better oversight for name, image, and likeness. They could have a lot of things going better. They made a choice to not have things go better. And now they run the risk of losing everything, because only one person can win a national championship. And when you think about it, who's really dominated the national championship? Obviously, the SEC has had Alabama or Georgia, but they've also had LSU, Florida, Auburn, all have slots. And so there's been a variety of guys who have won a national championship or at least played in it. The Pac-12 hasn't. They're non-existent. The Big Ten has had Ohio State play in it, but they've also had Michigan play in a the bowl, a game of whatever the bowl series, the bowl championship series. And the ACC has really only had two in the last 20. I'm talking about the last 20 years, and that's Clemson and Florida State. That's a very small pool. So the SEC has had variety. So when the SEC is pulling, they really dominate ESPN and ABC. They've really made their bet. Fox, CBS, and NBC are making their bid with the Midwest or the Big Ten. And that's what we're going to go into next. What is the use of the NCAA besides basketball? And the reality is, when you think about who the best Kentucky's one of the better basketball schools. Florida's one of the better basketball schools. Ohio State, the best basketball schools are in that area as well, in those schools as well. So if they could take that away from the NCAA, because all the NCAA is an agreed upon set of rules that everybody is choosing to follow. So if enough people choose to not follow that, what power does the NCAA have? I've made this thing to HBCUs, and I told them, what is there's no reason HBCUs should be in the NCAA. Does absolutely nothing for them. The money that you benefit in the shared revenue is minuscule, and you don't have the opportunity to negotiate your own separate contracts. If you pull it out of the NCAA, you can literally go and attack all the advertisers the NCAA has, and now HBCUs can make their own conference, and the HBCU national championship means more to HBCUs than a FCS national championship. Only one has won one, and that's FAMU, and that was in '79, if I believe correctly. And most of the schools can't afford the travel that comes with the FCS playoff system, because you have to go to the home team, and then you're never getting the consideration. That's why they have the Heritage Bowl. I think it's the Heritage Classic. I think I'm saying that right. Or the Celebration Bowl, whatever it is, in Atlanta, where the SWAC and the MEAC champion play. You get more money in that. But imagine if you just had that, but you made a playoff system and the national champion came from out of those. I mean, it's a thought process that you have to go outside the box. And when I said that, and what tends to happen with my elders in the African American community, as I was telling my business partner today, and I can tell the ones who ain't marched and didn't do anything, because they're always afraid to get in trouble. And their whole premise was like the NCAA is a government institution that you can go to jail. Well, we can't pay. I told them they should pay players. Find a benefactor, find LeBron James, find your Oprah, find your Jay-Z, find all these guys, even your Shad Khan at that time when I originally said it. I didn't know who Shad Khan was, but everybody, all billionaires and people who make a lot of money want to own a pro franchise. It's very difficult though, especially the NFL. I think NFL, you have to purchase it with 75% liquid capital, meaning you can only get a loan on 25% of it. You have to be able to show that you can maintain the fiscal books. That's why 4-5 was never able to own a team. That's why Elon Musk would never be able to own a team unless he liquidates all of his stock. They're billionaires in assets. They're not billionaires. They're rich on paper, I'm not knocking them. They are rich, but I'm just saying it's a difference between being rich, like I can like Scrooge McDuck, I could go swim in the money, and being rich with on documents and papers that come and go, because the value of that piece of paper is relative. But that's again not challenging anybody's bread or paper. So you got that, and then you also got this is what they want to do though. All these guys want to own teams. All you got to do is just sell them the rights to your athletic institution, and then now it's a plus leader. Real easy, not hard. That's what's about to happen anyway. But I think that's the way we're trending toward. The money is too big to consider this amateurism. If you still believe that this is amateurism and you believe in the purity of the game, I have oceanfront property in Iowa to sell you. Like you're believing in something that just doesn't exist. And I don't know if it's because you're stupid or what it is, but it's okay to like let other people benefit from the beauties of capitalism. So moving into that, and you can see what's happening. The SEC a few weeks ago talked about their deal. The SEC, the Big Ten, is now releasing information. They released the information that they signed a deal with CBS. They played the CBS. It's going to be weird because most of my life I've heard when I hear this, it's synonymous with the SEC. But now I'm going to see big games on CBS. But you're also going to see them on Fox. But the news that they released now is that it's going to be on NBC. So I haven't seen the Fox information, but obviously it'll be on Fox Sports, FS1, and their various networks. But NBC's deal is big because NBC currently has one of the largest streaming networks, free streaming networks, in Peacock. And games will be played on Peacock. The Big Ten championship game in 2026 will be played on Peacock. So what that means is the streaming service will be able to have people, you'll be able to watch it from your phone or watch it anywhere on the globe, which means that now the Big Ten has the ability to, and after 2026, to go out and have a bigger contract. They can go continue to negotiate. It's to the tune of $8 billion, and it could be increased by $2 billion upon expansion. And the Big Ten commissioner has consistently said, we ain't finished. Or I think we not done. I think that's what my guy said. How he said, and it's amazing that these numbers, it's like now teams are gonna get Scrooge McDuck numbers, man. Like it's amazing it's amazing how much we value entertainment in America, how much we value football. So when people were like, "Oh, it's just a game," no, ain't nobody paying $10 billion to see a bunch of people line up around the table playing Monopoly. Ain't nobody paying that $10 million for Chutes and Ladders tournaments. Connect Four. These are highly trained athletes that everybody is benefiting from it, and it's great.
The MLB is trying to change its schedule so that they never have a game on a Sunday, just to not compete with the NFL.
Because everybody knows how big football is. These streaming networks is where things are at. Like I just got a new TV. Shout out to my boy Leroy Smith. I won the TV from his foundation's gala. Just set it up. And I don't have cable. So I literally watch everything from streaming services. My life hasn't changed much. It's dope. The old people in my life hate it because they got to learn how to use a remote. They grew up in life where children were the remote. Still kind of the same, because when my grandmother was here the other day, she definitely called my son in there and said, hey, turn on the Westerns, turn on this, turn on that. But This money is why I like the Big Ten. And again, going into it, so people who don't see it, the guy is telling you we're going to expand. That's what the commissioner of the Big Ten has said. There's a contract that literally states you get $2 billion more just from expansion. Who do you think that they're going? You think they're going to want them to bring in subpar brands? They already got big teams in the Big Ten. They want, and if you look at the Big Ten's model, whereas the SEC is concentrated where football is got, the Southeast, and kind of going to the Southwest a little bit more, obviously with Texas and Oklahoma. But when you look at what the Big Ten has done, they got USC or UCLA. The California market, bump LA. You got the whole state of California right there. They've already got Maryland, so you got the East Coast. You got Northwestern, so you got Chicago market. Where do you dip down? What's the next logical move when you already have a coast-to-coast conference? The South. And you're talking about from an academic perspective. Who meets that? And I had a guy who's a very intelligent guy. He's going to be a great doctor. He just doesn't just because you're smart doesn't mean you're. I don't know how to say this the right way. I don't want to be offensive. Sometimes you can be smart in a lot or intelligent in a lot of things and be completely dumb or ignorant in others.
Right.
And I learned this, and I learned people don't even understand the beautiful art of debate. And a lot of times when I'm debating and I know you're wrong about something, I'm going to get you to state that you're wrong. It's a lawyer technique. I learned it from, I got lawyers in my family. But this guy came out and stated that the FSU doesn't meet the mold of Big Ten teams. And I asked him to expound on that. And he talked about the AAU, which if you've listened to the show, listen to me on Mark Rogers, I have talked about the AAU in detail. He talked about other things about the academic institutions and the prestige. They have large medical universities. They have all these other things. So I explained to him why we brought in our last president, why we have our current president, what their jobs are to do. And getting into the AAU isn't as hard as what people think because you need 75% membership to vote you in or to get the invite. And it just so happens a large portion of their membership is in the Big Ten. And what do you think is going to happen if the Big Ten wants Florida State to be in the AAU? They're going to make all their members vote. The guys, the current president is from the Ivies. He's going to probably get the Ivy League schools to vote. You're going to get the percentage. And you know what's wild? Nebraska's part of the Big Ten and isn't in the AAU. They lost their certification. So being in the AAU is already clearly something that they don't really give a fuck about. But for what Florida State wants to do from an academic standpoint, this is where athletics and academics truly marry. And it's for the best of the university because Florida State wants to be better than Florida, not just on the football field, in every aspect of the university game. This helps you. This propels you. This is how you grow your medical school. This is how you grow your law schools. This is how you do the different things that you say you want to do. It's just amazing that people just again, in order to get something, in order to consistently be ahead of the curve, you have to be in front of the curve. You have to think outside of the box. And most people just don't want to think outside of the box because they look at the travel and the distance without realizing that every college team plays 8 home games. So you're traveling 4 times. And again, Florida State plays Florida or Miami annually. Period. So that's always going to be one of your away games. So now you got 3. We already played Boston College away. So now that's 2. So Boston, I don't know if you guys realize where Boston is on the map, but it's high. It's actually higher than or just as high as some of these schools that you're afraid of. And we play them in November, and it's cold, but it's not that cold. And being a kid who, again, as I was just up in Philly, I was in Philly in February, and I just had a suit on. And I wasn't frozen. It's not what you think. Like, it does snow, but typically it really gets unbearable at times. December, January, February, March. You know what happens in December? Only championship games are played, and the Big Ten championship game is played in a dome. What do you have to worry about? You'll find out that it's really, really hot. And again, 8 home games are played. So you know what that means? You know who should be bitching? The Big Ten teams, because now they got to come to the heat because it's hot in November in Florida.
For real, bro.
We haven't had a cold Thanksgiving and God knows when. We haven't had a cold Christmas, I believe, since 2008, 2009, I think it flurried, like the day after Christmas. So a lot of the stuff that people are saying that they fear or that why it won't happen don't make sense, because one thing that is, again, as American, is we're a capitalist nation. Money moves things. It doesn't move individuals, but from a generalized perspective, money is what moves stuff. And if you don't know that, I question where you sit at in the economic scale, and I applaud you. But the reality is FSU will not be. If FSU is in the ACC upon the completion of their ACC contract, I promise you, no matter how good, if my son my son could be the number 1 player in the nation. He could have grown up a Florida State fan his entire life. He would not be attending Florida State, because that means we have literally let every student athlete down, and we do not care about winning. We are just a happy to be here person. And that's not the university that I went to, and I don't want to be a part of an administration like that. You'll finally see me change my affinity of who my favorite team is. Honest to God's truth, we're there for more than 4 years. I personally believe that we will finish the new ACC schedule and we'll be gone. And not just because of money, obviously, but also because we don't have much of a choice, man. It's either adapt or die, period. Don't know what else some of y'all want to know. I mean, I don't know what else some of y'all want to believe, but shout out to, a couple quick things. Shout out from a media perspective. Hopefully this will benefit me from an NIL perspective, but shout out to Portnoy, David Portnoy, man. He's a dick. He's a pretentious asshole, but he is a good businessman. Penn National has agreed to pay $325 million to buy the remaining 50% of Barstool Sports. Barstool Sports is literally the dream for every guy who has a podcast, every guy who has a website. Like, he started that thing as just some bro shit. It has evolved into like something crazy, man. It's just, he's doing a really good thing and a really good job with it. And as many people argue about how sexist or not misogynistic it is, even though they have the most misogynistic podcast by two women called Call Her Daddy. I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life. I couldn't be caught dead saying some of the shit that them women say. We listen to it. They make a lot of money. People get paid $1 million worth of game. He's taking Deion Sanders. He's taking a lot of guys and elevated them, and kudos to him. I mean, it's a blueprint. It's a story. If he wrote a book, I might not agree with them, but I'd buy it. 8 o'clock. Going to be like a hodgepodge of potpourri for a Friday. Randomness. Brought to you by Green Acre Sporting Goods. Green Acre Sporting Goods, go-to thing for all your outdoor needs. Let me see what my guy Z, forgot what my guy Z was telling me, because Z's that guy, man. I don't even know why you guys haven't gone to Green Acres yet, because they got really, really good deals, man. Not just good deals. They're not gonna let you waste your money when you go in there. They're gonna tell you what you need. They're gonna put you in positions to purchase the right equipment. But right now it's hunting season. They have a red tax sale going on for a lot of their firearms. They are marked down and they're ready to find new homes. Basically, they're trying to move this product out so they can get new product in. And you get the benefit from it. Everybody wins. But not just guns. They have bows and arrows. If you haven't shot a crossbow, it's fun. They got fishing equipment. They got coolers. They got safes, because that's one of the biggest things right now, especially when we're going into the holiday season, man. A lot of people's homes get broken into, and bigger than just protecting your family, you got to protect your identity and put your personal documents into a safe so that you can make sure things are good. Make sure these things are locked away, man. It's a lot of kids who are doing a lot of stupid shit because they, get into arguments and they hear you guys talk as adults and they think everything should be final and every argument has got to be this. Make sure you lock your guns away, man, so that your kids don't wind up and do something stupid. Is this a safe place to vent? Because I'm gonna tell you this: there's a lot of Jags media, a lot of media that I don't like. But there's one guy who, I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't even know he played for the Jags. But his name is Clay Harbor. At Clay HARBS 82. I actually hate him. I really hate this guy as a journalist and he played in the league 9 years and good for him. He's keynote speaker, Kelly School of Business from Chicago. He played for the Eagles, Bears, and the Jags, I believe. But I just don't like his takes. And I think it's worse because he played the game. And you ever see somebody who plays the game and you see their tweets and you question, like, damn, did this motherfucker really play?
I know why you don't like him after I seen his picture. I know why you don't like him.
Because he's light skinned? I'll say this. He's handsome. He is handsome. Like, click on the, can you click the profile pic? I'm not that guy he is very light skinned. I don't like light skinned people. Light skinned men. Somebody, it's the funniest thing. Let me make sure y'all realize this, man. It is a tongue-in-cheek joke, man. If you have seen my mother and my sister, they are the lightest of the light. And my god brother James Allen Wade and his sister are Simpson complexion. But I like that suit he has on though. I like guys who can wear a suit though. Oh, are we blocked? Did he block us that quick? Oh, I'm gonna say because people quick to block you. He might have heard it, but he's rocking that suit right there, man. But my thing is just his opinions like make me scratch my head. Did he really play ball? Because again, I don't know what his angle is. I don't understand him. But he was out there the other day in the hoochie daddy shorts and tight shirt. I mean, he still looks like he can play, man. I give him that. I ain't a hater on that part. I just hate the fact that he that I don't like any of his opinions. They talked about Tim Tebow and all this other shit. I'm like, bro, shut up. You're not Micah Ross. Micah Ross is my favorite Jag that nobody knew played for the Jags because he's local. Like, you can't see that. Like, even this. Is this up? Is this whole page up?
I can put it up.
Just put this up, man. Like, this is just, come on, dog. And then the people in the comments, like, just, oh, look at him. He still looks like he can play. Bitch, no, you don't. You are food with that route. Like, I gotta ask Dave. I gotta call my dog Dave and be like, Dave, did you scout this motherfucker? Did you bring him on this squad? Is this why the Jags weren't no good? Like, even the stance, I ain't like the stance. Couldn't get out the blocks like he used to. You know what? Fuck him.
Who is it?
This is Clay Harbor. This is the guy.
That's him actually running the route.
Yeah, like his knees, no drive on the get off, not covering ground, chopping in place, terrible break on the route.
Yeah.
Like, not falling for any of that. Like, come on, dog. If we're gonna do it, I will say this though, and it's his credit. It's impressive for a guy who's considered older now, but whatever. Micah, if you know this guy, tell him from the bottom of my heart, fuck you. But positive note, chicken wings are going down. Love it. You guys know me. They stole me. They stole my style on 1010XL where I used to work at. Because everybody who knows anything knows that James Coleman in Jacksonville is the Rick Ross of chicken wings. And I've been putting y'all on lemon pepper wet for quite some time. Then my dog, Big Leon Searcy, comes in and he gets my favorite, lemon pepper. And I'm like, you know what? Game recognized game, bigger name. You got it, homie. But y'all know who the Lemon Pepper King is. And we even had the wing segment, and everybody was bitching.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. I hate all presidents equally. I like all presidents equally. My favorite president is George W. Bush. A lot of people don't believe that. Not HW, W. I think when it's all said and done, believe it or not, I probably will say, and Denny's dad, Pop, said, James, when it's all said and done, you're going to love Trump. Trump's going to be your favorite president.
Oh, careful.
And I think he's going to be right, but not for the reason why he thinks. I think he's going to be right just because the freedom that I've gotten since 4 or 5 has been president. It's just things just roll off my tongue, and I can nobody can challenge me. You know why? I've never said anything close to as worse as he said. This man called another man's wife hideous on live TV. He's grabbing women by the pussy. He's doing all kinds of wild shit. So when people are like, James, why do you have to be so vulgar? I'm being presidential. But people give Biden a hard time. And they're like, gas prices wouldn't be high in Trump, which they were getting up there. They say they talk about student loans. They talk about all this other stuff, Ukraine. And I don't understand why they send so much money to Ukraine. But they haven't been giving this man props for these things. Gas prices are dropping. The price of medicine is the price of medicine in big pharma is forcing the price to drop. And goddamn it, chicken wings were at an all-time high under 4 5s last year during a pandemic. We talked about it on our show. We were trying to give people updates. And granted, I don't know. It made me question why they were so cheap. But I love my wing spot up the street. The Chinese people, $9, 10 wings every Saturday. That's the special. Lemon pepper tossed in buffalo. Let's say lemon pepper hot. Could be a little spicier for me, but it's still a good deal. It's delicious, delectable. And I'm being vegan this week, so like these pictures ain't helping me, Miles. Like my mouth.
I am just so excited to order.
My mouth. Why are you saying so? If it sounds like I'm getting juicy mouth dip while he's doing this, it's because he's activating the carnal instinct in me by posting these goddamn wings, and I haven't eaten meat in over a week.
Oh, really? How
Yeah.
are you moving?
Yeah, man, I'm angry. I'm.
That's the head. Buried the headline.
I'm seriously like I don't know how vegans do it. Like vegans should commit. I'm shocked vegans haven't committed more mass murder. Like they don't kill animals, but they probably kill humans. Like if she's a vegan, bro, watch her. Because like Monday was difficult because one of my vegan homies, she put me on game. You gotta have a smoothie. The smoothie is filling, right? I didn't eat a smoothie. I had some oranges, some grapefruits, and then I got my meal, and then it was just like a burrito, and the burrito was good. But I'm just sitting here like, yo, man, I'm just I'm mad. I'm hungry and mad, and I'm angry. And then she was like, well, why are you hungry? Like, what did you eat? And she's just like, man, this is what she told me. She's like, you're a whole ass man, not a grown ass man. She's like, you were a whole ass man, and you've probably only eaten 500 calories. It's like you're angry because not because you haven't eaten meat, but because you haven't done this. But and then Tuesday, a lot of shit happened. Like, I don't know how vegans handle problems because a lot of problems got lumped on my plate on Tuesday, and without meat, I don't know how to meet these problems. And you know, it was difficult, but you know, I've gotten used to it. I am going to eat meet this weekend when I travel to Tampa, a really Bradenton area to speak at the Sarasota Seminoles, the Manatee County Seminole Club. I'm going to eat meat. But yeah, man. Yeah, man. You've been vegan for 10. Oof.
You drink a smoothie right now. Wow.
Yeah, I had a smoothie this morning. And smoothies are good. That might be it. What I'm learning is there are some things that I am going to keep up. And I wasn't going to talk about this, but now we are. Vegans need to stop lying. You're liars. You're going to not. You'll do it and you'll feel great. You won't even miss meat. Wrong. I've done this before. I miss meat. and you know why why I miss meat? And I know they miss meat. You know why? How I know they miss meat? Because they describe everything as meat. Vegan chicken tenders, vegan oxtails, vegan this, vegan that, vegan this. If it was just, you would just call it broccoli. That's what you would call it. You would just say, this is what it is, man. But no, you describe it like, you know, the food that you're missing. And bruh, and my boy Reggie really started off because he always tags me. He was like, he had some lemon pepper wet wings the other day, and them things look so good. And then somebody posted some steak and just a lot of shit that's just delicious. And it's like you only notice the delicious shit your people are eating when you're vegan or when you're not eating it. So God bless you guys who go through that. I don't know how you go through it. Oh, I should have sent you this. So I'm going to end it. Damn, so much more I want to get into, but I can't have a too long show. So, did I send you the Mike Tomlin stuff?
No, I love Mike Tomlin though. I want to hear about.
I love Mike Tomlin. Okay, I'm gonna send it to you now.
I believe believes in the character that comes off on TV, that coach character. I think that's right. Actually him.
And this is going to make you believe it even more. Mike Tomlin is the only. So I've always had out clauses in relationships. My out clauses are like, it's not gonna happen, right? Even though one did almost happen. I had a guy, Pete, who was really good friends with Serena Williams, tennis trainer. And I used to say Serena was my out clause. And I was like, I don't want to be with her. I just want a kid. She could be a terrible person. I just want the kid. And then I realized, sometimes when you see these celebrities and they're so young, you think that they're that much older than you. And I didn't realize that Serena's like 3 years older than me. She's well within the range of women that I would date. I like them seasoned. I like old women. I don't like young girls. This is it right here, Miles. Okay. But Mike Tomlin he's a guy who's around. He ain't that much older than me.
Yeah, he's a young coach. Is he the youngest coach still?
Not anymore. He's not the youngest coach. But like, I don't know how I would feel. You can't tell me Mike Tomlin's your out clause. He's way more accomplished than me. like, hold up. The women I've been with, you might be able to get him. I know I can't get them. You might be able to pull him, but he's so genuine. He looks like Omar Epps. So like if he ever had a story, like, the Sean Payton movie, or spoof of it, it's terrible. I hated it. Me and my son bonded on that. His mom wasn't so fond of it because we're like, nah, that was loser shit. The end of the movie, like, nah, if your friend ain't made a kick all year, fuck that kid. We trying to win a championship. We ain't trying to build like Sean Payton's son was like, my friend didn't play and we didn't. He's like, your friend wasn't playing when you were losing every game. Now you're winning it. Nah, fuck that. Get out of here. I ain't got no relationship with you anyway. But anyways, Mike Tomlin was driving around, right? And he saw some kids fighting. And he pulled up, he stopped the car, went out, broke up the fight. And then what he did was he took these kids, and I believe he invited them. It looks like he invited them to training camp. And one of the cool things about training camp is like sometimes some days aren't as busy as others, but they got a chance to actively participate in training camp. I don't know if people understand how dope this is. Because Harris, yeah, like they're going through it. So like my son has a weird perverse relationship with sports, and I don't mean perverse in a bad way. It's just he's so used to seeing large humans and being around this kind of stuff that this is every day for him. Most of these kids will have only seen, and most people will only encounter Mike Tomlin through a TV. They'll only encounter Najee through a video game or through TV or things like this. Maybe a fan day. Maybe, if you're good, like, or a random occurrence. But to actually go and be able to spend time, do the drill, like Mike is coaching these guys through the drills, man. Najee Harris is doing the drills with you. As a kid who is like that, I've just been doing my book bag drive, my football camp, and a lot of these other things. And I always talk about this guy, Gene Atkins. And I would, you know what? If anybody, I don't know if this will ever get to it, but like I would really, really love to just get a chance to just shake his hand again. Like, I went to Gene Atkins football camp. I believe I was 7. And then Gene Atkins took all of us from the football camp to New Orleans to watch the worst football game I can remember ever. But it was the New Orleans Saints versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we went. That's Geno Atkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a little bit younger. I think he's younger than me. But Gene Atkins played for FAMU, if I remember correctly. And yeah, that's him.
Okay.
But again, it was I went to this football camp, man, and that made me want to be a football player. Now, it was some other things that had to come in, and I had a coach like Joe Nixon who he didn't break up a fight. He just jacked me up in front of all my friends who were like drug dealers, football, and goons. But like he, these are the things that change kids' lives with sports, man. And it's so amazing that Mike Tomlin did this, and like, because he didn't have to. He could have just drove by. He could have done a lot of things differently, but he chose to was that say Gene's from Tallahassee?
Oh,
because it was on this card that that you had up.
Yeah, Tallahassee, Florida, born November 22nd.
I didn't even know that. So that's again like
He came back to his hometown.
for me, you'd be surprised at what this little gesture does for some of these kids, man. And I just, Coach Tomlin speaks of character. He speaks of integrity. He's a very well-respected guy. It's a reason why he's been coaching so long. He's part of one of the greatest. He was the first African-American coach in his organization, but he's one of 4 coaches in his organization. And it's a reason why he's one of the best, and almost everybody respects him. I love hearing that man talk. This is real man shit right here. This is what guys like Aqib Talib should be trying to aspire to be, as opposed to goons. Like, you gotta take we gotta take this responsibility that we have in life. The things that we've gotten, the success we've had, and you gotta really try to change the environment. And I wasn't there. I had to talk about that, but I'm going to end it on the note that that only I can end it on, and just weirdos, man. We talked about you can't legislate weirdos. Weirdos are here. They're here to stay. I thought this man was a weirdo in 2012 and 2013 when all this stuff was coming out. It's confirmed now in the documentary. My thoughts on him, I'm going to be candid with you. I thought he was gay. I think he's gayer now. And again, before you come at me and try to harm me, I think people try to use the term gay as if it's some kind of disability. I don't care who you're splitting into or who's splitting you into, as long as you can do your job. But Monte Teo has a documentary out, and I wasn't going to watch it because I don't watch a lot of TV. But it's been all the talk of my friends. And it's called The Untold, The Girlfriend Who Didn't Exist. And it's been fun to have the jokes and all the things. But here's why I thought he was. I personally, because he's extremely religious. You learn about his background. You learn about the Polynesian background. The society, like this. There's very much so. They don't claim black, but they're Monte Teo probably getting the sun. He's the same complexion as me. Darker than my mama. I can tell you that much. But very much like a Caribbean culture, very much like African cultures, where there are some things that are taboo. You don't want to be you don't want you want to be very the men are very macho, very masculine, right? I think this boy liked boys and was afraid to talk. But you see his Polynesian background. You see he was a Mormon, or the Jesus Christ. I think the Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, those are called Mormons, right? He goes to a Catholic school, and just a lot of the things that influenced him. He's easily swayed. Like he says, like he prayed, and then he was going to go to USC, and a guy said, "You'll be another great Polynesian football player at USC, but you'll be the greatest Monte Teo at Notre Dame." And that's what made him go to Notre Dame. He said, "That's what God." I'm like, man, bro, if you'd have told me like lightning came out and then lightning struck your TV and then the movie Rudy came on, I would agree with you. But there's so many weird things in this movie or documentary that just leave me questions. And just the elite lies that were told in all of this was just like, wow. And it turns out, and before I thought the guy was just gay. But like, it turns out that the guy who catfished him is now a transgender or a trans woman. It's a pronoun. So it's like, and he was pretending to be a woman, but then pretending to be the woman's brother. He used a picture of a girl who he didn't really have a relationship with. He did all this stuff, and then just some of the lies. Like, let me scale back. So the tweet I sent you, Miles, and this is what every football player in America was thinking. Like, when you're good, man, you're the big man on campus. You mean to tell me, no, this movie is either an indictment of Notre Dame and should be used as recruiting against, because there are absolutely no hoes on the Catholic at a Catholic school. Which, I'm gonna be honest with you, you want a Catholic girl if you're a ball player. Like, they're fun. Probably a terrible way to say it, but like, they're fun. Trust me. You mean to tell me this man couldn't find like, I was a whore in college. My teammates were whores. There's a lot of stuff that was going down. The ugliest of my ugly teammates, and I had some guys that were hard to look at. Them motherfuckers had hoes. You mean to tell me Monte Teo, this is what the guy said. I want to make sure I give him his props. Monte Teo was a D1 athlete, D1 All-American, and Heisman finalist, and he had no hoes. That is very difficult to like do. Like, not one, like nobody. Like, even Tim Tebow, who I also believe is lives an alternative lifestyle outside of Christianity. There are at least stories of a girl trying to flash him and show him his boobs, show him her boobs at a Best Buy, and he ran. Like, I'm just saying, like, and Florida got some ugly broads too. But like, it's there. How do you, and then catfish didn't exist, but like, bro, how are you becoming so, this is when it should have got, this is when he should have finished it. Just because it's the bad luck. Y'all ain't met in 2 years. Y'all been talking. You feeling her like, I gotta meet you, baby. I gotta meet you. I want to see you. I want to apply. Yeah. And the day you're supposed to meet, this bitch gets in a car accident with a drunk driver and drives off of a cliff. And then to sprinkle more, like, remember how I talked about there's no need to sprinkle more struggle on a good struggle dish. Like the Ray Lewis story that I just talked about. To sprinkle more struggle on it, some struggle hot sauce, if you will. She got leukemia. Like, come on, dog. Like, I'd have been like, hey, man, you know what? You got a lot going on. Let me just back out of this. And then, all that to say, you know, your grandmother really did die. But then your girlfriend dies, and you feel the need to tell everybody without realizing how stupid it's going to sound. My girlfriend, in which I have never met, died. Let this be a cautionary tale to all men. If you have a son, like I would teach my son, I am going to talk. This is what a lot of you parents don't do. And this is what When you listen to the tales, dad's very proud, very good family. They just don't talk to their people about this stuff. Talk to my son very candidly. We don't talk about sex. He may be uncomfortable. I may be uncomfortable. But I'm going to talk to him about it, because if I don't talk to him about it, he's going to learn. He's going to actually learn from the thing that should be more scarier to you parents than your kid's possibly bisexual teacher talking about their weekend with their mate. He's going to learn from YouTube. He's going to learn from TV. He's going to learn from his friends or rap songs. Even though some stuff in rap songs are kind of like sound. I got to learn about Future. Like with Future, ain't got no manners for these sluts. I'm gonna put my thumb in it. Like, but again, imagine your 13-year-old daughter getting East Atlanta because some little boy was listening to Future and she's not enjoying it. And yes, I said 13 because if you don't think 13-year-olds are having sex, man, wake the fuck up, man. Shit's happening. But I'm gonna talk to my sons, not just because I want them to be good at it or enjoy their time. I don't want this to happen, man. If my son says I got a girlfriend, but I ain't never seen her before, we've been dating for 2 years, I'm like, bro, that might not be a girl you talking to. I'm gonna tell my son that, at a certain point, you got to figure out what tool she's working with. And now, if he likes that, then that's on him. Again, he only owes me one thing. He owes me a grandson. That's his name, James Anthony Coleman IV. But what I'm saying is, a lot of this shit can be prevented, and it's just you got to talk to the people. But the other side of it is, it can be prevented if people truly walked in their truth. I won't say who, but I mean, allegedly, I've had teammates who are possibly gay. You'll never hear me say who, but I have teammates who are alleged gay. But you know what them motherfuckers could do? Their job. They wasn't trying to hit on me, and I wasn't trying to find out. I just needed them to do their job so that we can win some ball games. And I think a lot of this Monte Teo story, the untold part of it is that he's still afraid to just come out the closet, man. Come on out the closet, bro. And it fucked up his head. And the scariest part about all of this, bro, when you watch it and you listen to him talk about it, this man really loved that dude. Like, legitimately loved the dude. Love buddy, bro. Like, I don't know, maybe would you be angry if somebody catfished you like this? It embarrassed you on national TV and you had to go talk about it? Of course. Like, because I wouldn't talk about it to Jay. They'd be like, we're going to start out. Hold on real quick. This is how he walks in. So they have the thing, and they have he walks in. He walks in. He's like, let me tell you about her. Her pictures are beautiful. I was so lonely at Notre Dame, and I didn't have anybody, and she was Samoan like me, and she religion like me, and it was this, and it was rose petals, and that. Now I'd have been like, hey man, shit, this motherfucker right here, bro. I should have known. Ain't no bitch that fine finna just come up and slide in my DMs like that. I would have at least been somewhat real. Or you would have could tell that there was some simmering anger in me. Yeah. I really left that movie being like, man, and I tweeted it. I'm like, man, this man really loved that bitch. And it turned out that it's a fat, double-chinned, transgender. And it just connected the dots. Everybody's got a type. Big girls need love too. I guess big identifying as girls need love too. And I think Monte Teo likes those, man. So, I mean, listen, man, operating your truth, man. It's 2022. I don't know what to tell you, but lying ain't gonna get you what you need. So on that note, the weekend, man, make sure you guys have a good time. Check out your local high school football games that's going on in your area. Pop Warner starts Saturday. College football next weekend. We got it. We here, baby. Woof. There's officially no more weekends without football, and we got to just love it. Just round the clock. We're gonna have a great time, loving life. A lot of sports going on, and there's more things that have happened. But, it's just, reporters being stupid and getting ready to lose their jobs, trying to talk like me. I don't know the reporter, but he called him a running black. which is awesome. He caught up, but we'll get that sound next week. On today, if you're on Twitter at Mikanopi1851 is the page. We're going to start doing NIL spaces. My partners Chris and Mike Underwood will be on the spaces. On Sunday, we got Sporadics by Fifth Quarter spaces that we're going to be doing in addition to the pods. Check out the different things that we're going to have coming up here. Tons of work, tons of different things that we got going on. New content trying to push out to where hopefully 2023 will be a big year. So if you haven't told anybody, please tell them subscribe. We're going to go back to the things. Once we get to 2,000 subscribers, I'm going to give $200. 3,000 subscribers, we'll give $300. And if we start hitting these goals that we have with the views of the show, man, we'll start doing giveaways and things of that nature. Oh yeah, also my STEM camp is this weekend. So if you're interested in donating and being a part of the MFTK monthly contribution, we're going to let me know, inbox me. We're trying to get 200 people to give $36 a month so that we can, kind of have most of our fundraising done before we have to crowd raise. May get that, may not. The more money we have in the pot, the more community programs we can have. And again, if everybody does a little, we can all get a lot accomplished. And that's really the goal between all of that. I appreciate everybody coming up, chopping it up with me for this short amount of time. We'll see you guys on Monday.